Have you ever had something to say and then suddenly went silent? Have you ever stumbled through a conversation only to think later, that's what I should have said? Or have you ever looked at somebody and was like, you're just not hearing me? Well, you're not alone, my friend. Get ready to uplevel your communication skills. My name is Kathy Riley. I am your host and communications expert with over 25 years in litigation and another 15 as an entrepreneur. Our goal here is to share tools, systems, insights, guaranteed to shift the way you connect with others. From mastering the art of a tough conversation to cultivating a mindset that screams confidence, you will learn how to break those bad communication habits. And today I'm so excited. We got a special guest with us today. Mr. Dave Sanderson is a nationally recognized leadership speaker, accomplished author, inspirational survivor as what is known as the Miracle on the Hudson. As the last passenger to get off U.S. Airways Flight 1549, which had to ditch into the river, he took lessons that he learned from that profound experience in frigid water and emerged from the wreckage with a mission to encourage others to do the right thing and share coping skills to address adversity. Named as one of the top leadership speakers, he travels the world to share his inspirational leadership lessons and has raised over $14 million dollars for the American Red Cross over the last 10 years. He lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, with his lovely wife, Terry, of 35 years, and has four children who are very happy that he came home that day. Please welcome, my friends, Dave Sanderson. Yay!
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm excited to be with you today. Thank you.
Oh, so excited to have this conversation. Dave, you and I have met several times. I've heard you speak. Just love the way you deliver all your messages about overcoming adversity, about taking control of your life, right? Making good choices and how to be a leader. I did read your book, Brace for Impact. It was pretty powerful, what you went through. Tell me what's something that what's one thing you would like people to know about that experience that you had?
Thank you. And I'll share something that doesn't get out in the public. I tell people, Kathy, there's a story and then there's the backstory. All right. And the backstory is usually as enticing, if not more enticing than the real story. So here's a little tidbit that a lot of people don't know about what happened inside the cabin, why everything was breaking loose. Of course, we give all the credit to the captain and the first officer for getting the plane down. They get all the credit, but then it transitions because now you got a plane sinking in 36-degree water, and it becomes a team effort. And I tell people it's amazing how 155 people did not know each other or care about each other come together on a common mission, and all of a sudden, just something that never had been done in the history of aviation. But one of the things that happened inside that plane that made that happen was, and you may know this or you may not know this, but I was the last passenger out of the plane. I went out 10F on the right side of the plane, and there was a picture when I was on Good Morning America. The first picture they showed of the plane. It was me hanging out of the plane, holding on to the lifeboat, and that's when I found out I was the last passenger out. So a question I got was, where's the crew? Well, what happened is the crew that was supposed to be there, she got injured in the back of the plane, and she had to go out the front first class door on the left. So the right side of the plane had to be managed by passengers only who had zero training, zero experience, but had to step up in that moment. And that's why I tell people as part of leadership, you don't have to know everything about everything, but you got to be able to inspire people and direct people and to get their mindset right to be able to take action when they need to take action. And that's what I thought would really happen on the right side of the plane, because it was me and a couple other people that had to basically give directions to people because there's nobody to lead. There's no flight attendants. So that's how I became the last passenger out. And on the right side of the plane, how the passengers had to manage that situation, where the total opposite, it was on the other side of the plane. The other side of the plane is where all the crew went out and managed, but they had a different issue. See, we had the issue, we had to manage stuff, right? We had to figure things out as we went, right? And direct and make things happen, which we knew nothing about. Left side of the plane had that kind of experience, but what they had what we didn't is they had all the helicopters that were coming in from New York City. As they were going over the plane, they were basically turning the water over, and people were falling into the water constantly. So the left side of the
Oh,
plane had people on the wing going into the water while we had to figure it out ourselves. Two totally different experiences in one
wow.
plane crash.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing. And we're
yeah,
you know, there are reasons why things like that happen to us, and am absolutely grateful and honored that you're here, that you're present, that you overcame that. Now, let's say, imagine if you could go back and talk to yourself just before boarding that flight. What advice would you give that version of Dave?
yeah. Good question. What I would tell Dave, 15 minutes before I board that plane, read the brochure, know where the exits are, and pay attention to the flight attendants. That's I that did I tell him if I ever see you, Kathy, on air, you and I are at the Denver airport and we're boarding different planes, that's exactly what I would tell you. Exactly. I tell
Really?
everybody who gets on a plane that pay attention to flight attendants, know where the exits are, and read the brochure. Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
simple and so true, because most of us don't. We
No one,
don't
everybody knows
pay it.
everything. Everybody knows everything, right? Nothing ever happens on a plane, right?
Well, we hope.
Yeah,
Um,
we hope. And until all of a sudden, as we've seen, unfortunately, lately, there's a lot
yeah,
of things happening on planes lately.
there are.
You better stay aware. You better know your surroundings. You better see the people around you. They can make or break a situation. You have people that, I mean, that's another part of what happened on our plane. And you heard my story, but it was so quiet, you hear a pin drop. And no one lost their
Mhm.
heads. Where traditionally people go through like that, they start losing their heads. And when people lose their heads, they start making irrational decisions.
Yes.
When people get irrational, what happens? Stuff breaks loose, right? Now you got to manage emotions instead of managing the situation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, because people lose their stuff, and that nothing good happens when people lose their stuff.
No,
So,
no.
all right, another question for you. All right, if you had to bottle up and sell the mindset you had during that emergency, that exact the clarity, the focus, the instinct that you had, what would you name it? And how do you invite people to use it daily in their lives?
Wow, I haven't had that question. So let me think about that. I guess I tell you what I did and how I did it. I may name it that. So it really came down to one skill set that I started learning back in 1994. At a seminar that I went to, I paid a lot of money to go, and I learned this skill set, and I used it in sales, in my sales career. But that day, I had to really use it, and it was called state management. I had to be able to manage my mind and keep it focused on what's important. And there's three ways to do that. And if you could do it through your physiology, the way you move your body, you could do it with internal dialogue, what you talk, how you talk to yourself, or what you focus on. Now that day I couldn't move around a lot, right? Because you're going down, you can't get up and walk around and get going. So the way I managed my state through the whole way is I asked different questions of myself. I managed my mind. I kept my mind focused on the outcome, the outcome. But if you look at what the captain did, he did the same. He used the same skill set, state management. But how did he do it? Through the power of focus. And he had to focus on one thing, right? Get that plane down. Everything else is extraordinary. I mean, I'll give you an example because I've been asked this question a lot over the last 16 years. And it's like, do you think the captain was praying while all this was going on? So when he and I spoke together, we actually shared the stage at Southern Illinois University about 8 years ago now. About 8 or 9 years ago now. And I asked him that question. I said, Captain, when all the stuff was going on, what did you think about, right? He said, I didn't have any time to pray. I had 154 other people praying for me. I had to focus. And that was a great, because so we had the same skill set, right? Managing your state. He did it one way, I did it another way, but we both did it. Many people did it that day to be able to have that outcome called a miracle. That's what I call it, Dave's state management strategy.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, focus. You want to like we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. What are we gonna do? What's the next best choice right
Yep.
now?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And part of my talk now, I talk about high velocity decision making. How now the world's moving so quickly now. I mean, as we know, right? And speed, I believe, and this is one thing that speed is your competitive advantage. You got to be able to make a decision and execute. And sometimes you're not going to win, right? Sometimes you're not going to win, but you got to be able to make a decision when all stuff's breaking loose, right? In your life, most people just stand there; they won't do anything, right? And you've heard me talk about the lady on the wing, who wasn't doing anything because she was in shock, right? I mean, all stuff was breaking loose around her. She's standing on a wing by herself, and people are trying to get around her, but you're not going to walk around her. It's slick. So she was in shock, so she didn't do anything, and that's very dangerous. And that's just a metaphor of what's going on in life now. Things are happening in our life so quickly. I mean, things are changing so quickly, right? You got to be able to make a decision and execute, and hopefully you'll make the right decision. But you learn more from failure than you do from positive outcomes. So even if you fail, you've learned something.
Yeah, it's like failing forward, right? Any
Right.
decision is a good decision. And
That's right.
even the bad decisions teach us what not to do again.
It's exactly right. It's a learning experience, right? So yeah, the ability to make a decision quickly, but Dave's state management strategy is probably what I would name it.
Say that again, Dave.
Dave's state management strategy is what you asked me to name it. I would name it
You
that.
name it. I love it.
Yep.
All right. Let's think about this. Since that day, what is the most powerful conversation you have had that completely shifted the way you experienced that event?
Wow. You know, I tell you, I think I know what it is because it was probably one of the most dynamic nights of my life. So about 8 months after this, I was invited, as you mentioned earlier, I do a lot with the American Red Cross, and I was invited by the Red Cross to speak at the Supreme Court of the United States of America. And to be able to do that, Kathy, what I learned through this experience, you have to have a Supreme Court justice sponsor you. And mine was Justice Anthony Kennedy.
Nice.
He sponsored me. So when I got there, he wanted to have a one-on-one with me. Okay.
Yeah.
And now you're a one-on-one with a Supreme Court justice in his quarters. And he said, give me the Cliff Notes version. And it's about maybe 3 minutes. I had a discussion with the Supreme Court justice, and it wasn't anything that he said, but it was the impact of having that opportunity to be around somebody of that magnitude who's interested in you, right? And it's like, wow, right? And we raised $6 million that night. That's sort of where I made my name, was that we helped raise $6 million that night. And it's not hard when you're with the Supreme Court and be able to, you can
Right.
you can play off
It's
of that.
good to have people.
Yeah, it's like, they're happy people. But I would say that evening with Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy and having a one-on-one with him in his quarters was pretty powerful.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's part of the reason why I ask is because, we all have faced adversity, some to some degree, right? And others to what you've experienced. And I personally have had a near-death experience, but it's how we look at it now afterwards that we figure out how can we use this to our best advantage.
That's right. That's right. I agree. It's and I'm sorry about your near-death experience, but I think everybody in their life is, and I've said this over and over, I've been quoted. I think everybody in their life is going to have what's called a personal plane crash moment. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen, right? It may not be a plane crash. It may not be a heart attack. It may not be a car wreck. It may be something. But no one gets through life unscathed, right? Even the Queen of England never got through her life unscathed, right? Something happens. And I'll tell you a quick story. So I was actually coming back from a speaking engagement down in southern Georgia. And you're not from the East Coast, but on the East Coast, they have this highway called Interstate 95. Basically takes you from Maine all the way down to Miami, right? And it's very slow. So I just got off stage. I'm making my way. I get a phone call from a friend, said, I need to talk to you. I need your help to talk to somebody. What do you mean? I said, I've got a friend who just survived an avalanche in Nepal. She's one of 4 people that survived, and she's locked herself up in this cabin, and none of us can get her out of it. I said, would you talk to her? And I said, what can I offer? I mean, I survived a plane crash. I don't know anything about avalanches. He goes, but yeah, you survived the plane crash, right? You could. So I said, all right. So I got on the phone, Kathy, with this lady, and she had what's called survivor imposter syndrome, right? She had it. And she kept running in her mind, right? Everybody else died and I didn't, right? So she just couldn't get out of it. So I said, okay, I know what this is. I've seen this pattern, right? So I said, give me a couple of weeks to figure it out, right? So what I did is this: is I found somebody through my network. I found somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody in Liberia, and we got on this 5-6 way phone call with this guy in Liberia, right? And all I just want to do is find out what this guy in Liberia does. Why is he so happy, right? He gets up in the morning, Kathy. He goes down, he gets water, he comes back, he cleans, he makes a fire, he gets water, and he's the happiest guy in the world, right?
Yeah.
So I asked, I said, would you do me a favor? If we can arrange it, would you get on the phone with me and this young lady in Canada? So we had a 4-way phone call going from Liberia to the UK, me and Canada. And all I did is I asked, I said, tell her about your day, right? He tells her about his day. And I said, listen, this guy's happy just because he's alive. You made it. There's a reason you made it. There's a reason I made it that day. I should have died that day. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she started realizing life's not so bad, right? I mean, this guy basically lives in a hut, right? Just gets water, and we're upset about other things.
Yeah.
So I use a strategy called I give people perspective or reference, right? You got to reframe that reference. So that's what you and I do, is be able to help people. It's like, listen, you think you got a bad day? Let me tell you about somebody else, right? No, we're not having a bad day. We're having first world problems. That's what we have,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, our water's not. Yeah, and we got 2 cheeseburgers and we're over baked over at McDonald's. That's a bad day, right?
Yeah.
My wife gets mad at some of that stuff, right? They didn't give me a Diet Coke, and I'm like, and they gave me a Coke, and I'm like,
What are you
oh,
gonna do?
yeah, like, listen, you got a Coke, right? Some people would die to have that Coke, right? So, yeah,
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's start reframing.
yeah,
That's the
reframing.
what you talk, reframing the situation you have. The way our brain works, 100 things happen, 99 positive, one negative, and we focus on the negative. We
All
cannot
right,
help it, but
yeah,
we can proactively say, no, no, no. Let's focus on the positive. What can we do? Reframe how we think about any given situation.
yeah.
So I love that you shared that.
Well, and I did my TED talk. That was really the one point that I really had focused in on. My TED talk was about post-traumatic growth syndrome, how to grow out of a traumatic life event. That's what my TED talk was about.
Mm.
And the point that got the most feedback was when I said the meaning you attach to something produces the emotion of your life, and emotion is your life. So any meaning you attach to it, that's where your emotion is, right? If you have a good meaning, you're a happy person. If you have a bad meaning, you have a negative. So all you gotta do is reframe it, right? All you gotta reframe that meaning. So what you and I do from stage or when we work with people, all we're really doing is helping them reframe a meaning, right?
Yeah.
That, they're going through a tough time. They're, yeah, we're going bankrupt. Okay, what does that mean to you? Devastation. Okay, I get that. So devastation, but you know what? You have the opportunity to bounce back. Yeah, you made it. So they always say the second meeting is easier than the first meeting, right?
Yeah.
So if you've done it
Yeah.
once, right, and and then you give them a strategy. The strategy is you model somebody who's actually done what you want to do. And well, where can I find this person? Well, right now it's easier than ever. It used to be you actually pick up a phone and call people. You know,
Right,
now you can go
right,
on the internet and research a story, and you can go one step further. You can go through AI and say, "This is my problem." They'll give you a list of people who've had the same problem.
right.
It's like, okay, you're not the only one in the world, right? So don't think you're special, right?
Oh, so good. And
Yep.
then you think about, okay, modeling. I love that you went to that. That we're going off in a different direction, but I love that modeling someone who is doing what you want. I often talk about being the dumbest one in the room, right?
Yep.
It is good to learn. You can learn just by being around people who are doing what you want to do at the 10th level.
That's
right?
right.
Which is why I love having you on this
Yep.
podcast because I want to be like you when I grow up.
Well, thank you. I don't know if my kids would say the same thing, but that's all right. I appreciate you saying that because what you just said is gold. All right, and as you may know, I was head of security for Tony Robbins for over 10 years. So I had my first mentor passed away. Tony then asked me to be his assistant head of security, then head of security. So now I'm got my second mentor. I'm traveling with the master, right? The master. And the first thing he teaches, all right, and I learned this in 1994, and it's still true today. And what you is exactly what you just said a moment ago. It's exactly it. Is proximity is power.
Yeah.
You put yourself around the right people. And you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. You don't. If you're the smartest guy in the room, you got a problem, right?
You're in the wrong room.
You're in the wrong room. You need to up level because these people would teach you the strategies because life is nothing but strategies. See, if I have a strategy to do something, I can accomplish it. What people don't have is they don't have the strategies, so they freak out, right? So what you and I do is we give people strategies. All right, I'll give you a strategy. I've been there, done that, right? I've screwed it up. I know how to fix it. All you got to do is model the person with the strategy, and you can get whatever you want. I mean, that's
Yeah.
and part of and how you do that, and it's how I do it in my business. It's called finding your who's for your hows. I've got a how. I got something I got to do. I got to find a who's done it so I can model that who or let them do it. Right, either one. And that's how you accelerate. And what I talk about compressing decades into days. How you grow so quickly that you can't even keep up with the growth.
Oh,
Yep.
juicy, juicy. Okay, so switching gears just a little bit. I love,
Yep.
so I've been thinking about, we've been talking about this podcast for a while. So I wanted to definitely ask and have you share some things that you don't normally get asked.
Yep.
So here's one. Okay, if there
Okay.
was a song playing in the background as you were evacuating the plane, what would it be?
Yep. Good question. And I've got an answer for it because it used to be my walk-on song.
Ooh.
Exactly. It's Right Now by Van Halen.
Oh,
Because
good.
it's got that opening, right? And all of a sudden all stuff's breaking loose on the plane. It's at that piano opening, right? And all of a sudden it's like
Uh-huh.
it kicks in, right? You got to do it right now, right? There's no options right now. So it'd be Right Now by Van Halen.
Oh, I love that.
Now
Okay.
I've just dated myself. I just dated myself right now. So
Well, well, I don't know about that. My daughter, she's 19, and you'd be amazed at the music that she's listening to right
good
now.
for
She
her.
blows me away.
Good for her.
So, I often talk about walk-on songs. Like
Yep.
music has a way of shifting actually studies show it shifts us on a chemical basis, right?
Right.
So we can step into confidence. This is where you fake it till you make it, right? You can listen to a good song. So if that used to be your walk-on song, what is it now?
It depends on which talk I'm giving, candidly. I've got different ones for different because some of my talks are about changing how to change your narrative. Some of the talks are about, just about what's called embracing uncertainty. Um, you know, that's a good question. I have used that the thunderstruck, but everybody uses thunderstruck. I don't use that anymore. Um, boy, that's a good question. I can envision, I can hear the song in my head. Now I'm losing who actually sings it. Um, I don't know.
Sing it.
I'll tell you what. I'll answer before we get off because now I'm thinking it in my head right now, right?
Okay.
In my head right now. So
All
yeah,
right. Chew on it, and we'll go to the next question. Um, So most leadership lessons happen in the boardrooms, books, and classrooms. You're one of the top leadership guys, right? With your lesson happening half submerged in freezing river, right? What's a lesson from that moment that most business leaders need to understand?
is the moment that moment when you're going down. That's the question when everything's ready to go down. That one moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it you know we you put too much effort on your business and in your family. That was the biggest thing I got out of that. I was so focused on making money, and I said this in an interview, right, on CBS. He asked me what I said I was so focused on making money I didn't spend enough time with my family.
Mhm.
And that's because, I mean, I don't know about you. You have a daughter that I know, and I'm sure your daughter's always pixie dust and sunshine. Our three daughters were not. We had a daughter who really didn't like us a lot. She was 17 years old, right? And all of a sudden, Dad goes through a plane crash, and she's the one who got the phone call about the plane crash, right? So she had to communicate that to the family. And then she
Okay.
got to be in People magazine with me, which changed our relationship. She all of a sudden she realized Dad's pretty cool. And that, so I would say, yeah, I would tell if I was instructing somebody, you know what, all the business stuff's important to make money, but it's not as important as spending time with your family. And that's what changed for me is I committed right when I got home that I would never miss an important thing with my family again. I would schedule around it. Yeah, I may be on the phone talking to somebody while I'm there, but I'm not going to miss it. And I've never missed one since.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. Well, and it comes down to your core values, right? What are your core values? And for me, I'm with you. My family is my number one core value. So I've often had conversations with my daughter to say, especially as a mom that's working, right? That the mom was always my first hat. And
Yep.
I worked as she was young and decided to take the burden off myself. So this is for those of you listening, this is a great tool when you have younger kids is to say, what do you want me at?
Yep.
Like, okay, you've got soccer, you've got this, you've got that. What, your plays, all of this stuff. What do
There's a lot of
you
stuff.
want? There
Yeah.
is. And then when you have multiple kids, I only have one child. I
Yeah.
can't imagine if you had three.
So I have four.
So four, four
Yeah.
to sit there and say, so ask them where do you want me? What's important to
Yeah.
you? Where do you want me? And let them pick because quite honestly, half the time they don't remember anyway.
No.
But we want to be there for them. So thank you for sharing that because I think it's important that, you know, that's if that's what you're missing, that you woke up to that to shift to say, okay, I need to be present in all of my areas of my life.
Yeah, and I'll leave this with one specific instance. So my daughter was getting graduated from high school, but I had a major speaking event already planned in Tampa, Florida, for that morning. And now I've already committed, right? As you know, we take the deposit, right? We're all locked in. Now I've got this graduation. So you know what I did? I said, you know what? I made this promise. I can't miss this thing, right? This is it. So I used the money that I made. I hired a private plane to take me there and back, and I got it back just in time, right about an hour before she graduated. That's how. Sometimes you just got, whatever I made that day, it all went to making sure I was there that night. So
Yeah.
so I know the song. As I ran it through my head, it's "Bring Me to Life" by Evanescence.
Ooh, I don't know that one. I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah, Evanescence. That's the one that I love walking into that song because it builds, right? It builds. So
Nice.
yeah,
Okay. The foundation of leadership is communication, right? Internally, externally, all of that. What's one common mistake people make, leaders make, and how can we avoid it?
great question. And I actually learned this from my time when I got to escort a gentleman by the name of General Norman Schwarzkopf. I had one-on-one time with him. When I was head of security for Tony, I was in charge of the VIPs, and he's definitely a VIP, a four-star general who just won an award Iraq. So I had to pick him up at the Kona airport and drive him to the resort. So I had about 40 minutes, and it was an amazing 40 minutes because he taught me the answer to this question right here. He explained a lot of things to me, but the one thing he taught me is this. I actually teach this in my talks. I teach this to people in companies. Is 5 plus 15 is greater than 15 plus 5. And what does that mean? Well, he explains it like this, and he uses military terms, so I'll use military terms. Okay. He said, if I give an order to a lieutenant, the lieutenant will spend 15 minutes explaining the project, what the project is, how it's got to be done, when it's got to be done, where it's got to be done, and give his troops 5 minutes to ask questions. If I give it to a colonel, they'll spend 5 minutes telling them what the project is and say, if you have any questions, come to me, right? But you're accountable for it. He said that's the difference between a leader and a manager. A leader will give you the mission. You're accountable. I don't care how you get figured out how to do it, just get it done. Where a manager wants to take significance. He wants to own it because he's afraid someone's going to look upon him instead of his team. So one of the things I teach now, and I learned this from Coach K, being around Coach K, one time I got to be in a small group with him, is the power of we, you know, and it's one of the most important lessons that I learned from him is, you know, everything is about we, it's not I. So because the question that came to him was when he went to Duke, Duke was horrible. Duke basketball was horrible, and they wanted to hang him, right? But he said the first thing he focused on, he does in every team, is everything is about we. It's not I. We're all accountable together. We're all a sense of belonging. We're all inclusive. And if something happens, it's on all of us, not just you. So that's how that's 5 plus 15 is greater than 15 plus 5. It's probably the greatest lesson about the difference between leadership and management. If you're a leader, hold people accountable. Give them the mission. Not that they can't come to you, Kathy, and ask questions, right? But hold them accountable. Say, hey, you know, and they know at that point in time they own it, and their team owns it. You don't own it.
Love that. Oh my God, juiciness. So I understand that you are a man that appreciates experiences when you're training, when you're out showcasing your genius for leadership. You have an event coming up. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, and we're actually doing another event. So I'll tell you about the event we're doing and then what we're doing. So in May, I think it's May 4th or 5th, I forget which day, in Modesto, California. Another gentleman and I will be, not only will do a talk, but it's primarily focused on first responders, military, and women who have unfortunately had negative experiences with men. And we're going to be doing a firewalk experience, taking people through a firewalk experience to show them how to face their fears and how they can come out even stronger. So we're doing that in Modesto, California in May. I'll be doing one here in Charlotte, North Carolina in November 14th and 15th, where we're going to be holding our first event. In addition to doing a firewalk and teaching a lot of these concepts we're talking about, for a select few people, I have access to the Aviation Museum, which has the plane, went down to Hudson. For a select few people, I'm going to take those people over to the museum and give them a firsthand, close-up experience of what really happened, so they can actually see it, feel it, smell it, the whole thing. Where it's not many people have that experience to be able to see that with somebody who's actually in the place. So yeah, I love giving people experiences because that's how I learn. I love learning through experiences. If I can give you an experience, I can basically hit every one of your modalities. And because one of the things that I've learned through my speaking is if I can hit every modality with somebody, I don't know which modality is the one they thrive on. It's either visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, or gustatory. It's one of those 5. It's usually one of the first 3. I've got to give everybody at least the first 3. If I give them all 5, I have a total rapport, and they remember that experience and remember me.
Oh, love it. So where can our listeners find more information on that?
Yeah, they go to my website, davesandersonspeaks.com. They'll just go out to my leadership consulting page. I'll see information about that experience coming up in November. And if you want to get a hold of me, best way through LinkedIn so I can communicate. And I always drop, as you know, I always drop new content every week so we can, not only get it out there, but have people give me feedback on how it works in their lives.
All right. So we're going to wind down now. I've got some questions for you, a little popcorn style fun that we're going to do. Don't think too hard on any of these, right?
It's Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock. I can't think that hard right now. I'm good.
See, that's what I love, the time difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you say you're a morning or a night person?
Definitely a morning person. I get up at 3:50 a.m. and start my day at 3:50 a.m. So I'm morning.
Great googly moogly. That's early. What time do you go to
bed? Way too late, about 11 o'clock. But I did that because as you may know, I swim with Navy SEALs, a special officer raising money, and they swim at 5 a.m. And for me to be able to play at their standards, because one thing you learn, Kathy, by being around these heroes is they do not lower their standards for you. You have to come up to their standard. So for me to be able to do that as a civilian at my age, I gotta get up at 3:50 in the morning and put the laps in. So yeah, I'm definitely a morning person.
Got it. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm a swimmer too, so I love doing that, but I'm not nearly as fit as you.
Well,
So I love that.
come out swim with the seals with me out in Coronado Bay and out in open water. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to do it?
I'll,
I'll do it with you.
let's do it. I'll definitely give them something to talk about.
Well, my wingman, my first one to do was a Navy captain, a female Navy captain. And she kicked my butt and everybody else's butts. So I love
Oh,
swimming
yeah.
female. So if you want to do it, you let me know, and I'll go out to Coronado in September and swim with you.
Oh, cool. Okay, I got some time.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, you need
So,
time. You will need time. I know that for a fact. You would need time. Yeah,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. All
yeah.
right. So, would you say you are a sweet or salty person?
I'm a sweet person. I'm a sweet person.
Sweet.
I not only in my hopefully in my personality, but I have always been attracted to people who are who sweet on me, and I can be sweet on them.
I love that. All right. So if you were to have dinner, would you love a home cooked meal or go out?
You know what? You probably it's probably different in your world, but now with all of our four kids gone, um, we outsource dinner way too often. So I love a home cooked meal. I would die for a home cooked meal, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I tell people my wife is the queen of outsourcing. What do you want? 1-800, I got it, right? So, you know, I'll get it for you. I know how to
Oh,
get it. So she's a queen of outsourcing. Yeah.
okay, that's funny. No,
Yeah.
see, I'm a cook. That's my part of my love language, right? Is I love cooking. So we always had meals together. But now that my daughter's away at college, like I do cook a little, but we are kind of hitting the restaurant a little
You go
bit
to the
more.
outsourcing likewise. Yeah, my mother was a great
Yes.
cook. We never went out. So, but this is a yeah. But you're now in the mode of we're going to outsource unless I feel like cooking stage, right?
I like the word outsource. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's good. That's good. Okay, so if you wanted something like yummy, like a comfort, would it be something you eat or something you drink?
Eat.
Eat.
There was a Jello my mother made, and it was my comfort food. My wife cannot make it to save her life, and unfortunately, it died with my mother in 1997. So I
Oh,
remember when I was a kid, whenever I was out of sorts, she'd make this Jello, and
yeah.
all of a sudden I would just melt.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah.
I love that. All right,
Well,
would you
as a mom,
say,
you know this. As a mom, you know your kids. You know
oh yeah.
and you know how to sort of, if they're having a rough day, how to sort of turn it around. My mother was a master on that, right? So,
Oh yeah, and food's an easy solution. So at least for a mom, me,
well,
we would
well,
I
yeah, a mom
I've
who
got
grew up in the Depression had to cook, right?
yeah.
They all had to cook in the Depression. No one could afford to go out, so they had to
Yeah.
learn how to cook, right? I
Yeah,
love it.
my daughter loves my pumpkin chocolate chip. Well, it's actually pumpkin spice chocolate chip bread. And
That's
she
great.
just it is really, really I took the recipe and blew it up and added a bunch of different spices and it's just
Is that
and
care
then I
packages? Those in the care package? Did you
well,
send?
she doesn't want it in the care package because she only wants to enjoy it when she's home.
Oh wow, wow.
So it's like give her something to look forward to, which I'm like, oh, okay, all right, you're gonna make your mama cry now.
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a good one. That turned a little bit on that. I was like, yeah.
oh yeah,
The first
that's
thing she'll
got
have to
me.
see is cookies when she gets home. Great. Yeah.
Yeah, I do send the cookies and the chocolates and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So okay, so would you say beach or mountains?
I've gone back and forth. I grew up in the mountains, so I would say beach now. I grew up in the mountains.
Beach.
So, I love the mountains. I do. But I like something a little bit more spicy. And now that I can swim pretty well, and I swim in the ocean with the seals and special ops, you get sort of get used to having to stand up your backside, right? So, yeah, right? Hey,
Okay,
it
got
is
it,
what it
got
is,
it.
right? It is what it is. So, yeah,
Okay, so to read a book,
yeah.
paper or electronic at a Kindle?
Neither. I do Audible. That way
Oh,
that's why I can get two books done a week. If I have to read, it's going to take me a month to 6 weeks because I get bored very quick. If I can listen to it and it come for 3 days, I get the content, I can use it. Audible.
ooh, Ooh, love that. Okay, okay. And then if you were to enjoy, let's say a movie or a series, would it be a movie or a series? So if you were to binge or chill out, is it movie or series?
Series. So
Series.
things like Yellowstone, a series like that, where I can get into it, right? I can understand the characters. I love movies, but I'm into a series. I'm a series kind of guy.
I love that. We're
Yeah.
just watching that
I
1923, is
love it.
it?
1923. Yeah, finally he's going to get home. I hope he's got to get home because
Shh, don't,
the boys
don't
don't
tell
work.
me. I just started watching it. Don't
Oh,
tell
okay.
me. Don't tell
He's
me.
not
Don't.
home yet. I'll just say he's not home. All right.
Oh man,
He's not home yet. Okay. So
he's my favorite character.
he's tough. He's a rough dude, man. He's a
Yeah.
rough dude. He's a
Oh, I
manly
love
man, as
it.
I would say. He's a manly man, as I would say. Yep.
Manly man. Yes,
Manly
yes,
man.
yes.
Yep.
Well, Mr. Dave, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. You just sharing your wisdom and your genius. Thank you for sharing this experience that you've had, and so grateful that you survived. You are a survivor. And it's been an absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Well, thank
Um,
you very much for having me. I'm excited for what you're doing and how you're impacting people's lives. Thank you.
so let's remind people, how can they find you?
I would suggest go to LinkedIn if they want to see my latest content. If they really want to see more about what's going on with Dave's world, go to davesandersonspeaks.com and you'll probably get more information as you probably ever wanted about me. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. And so, my friends, that's a wrap for today's episode of Breaking Bad Communication. Thank you for being here and tuning in. And before we sign off, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like what you heard today and it resonates with you, feel free to share it, repost it, and follow Dave, follow me. We like stalkers. Stalkers are always good. Um, but know this, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your communication. And as you head out into the world, remember every conversation is your chance to shape your life and the life of others, whether it's a tough talk or a casual chat. Be clear, be intentional, and listen like it matters. The better you communicate, the more your life truly aligns with what you want. So get out there, use your voice, make your words count. Giddy up.